In the small, serene town of Crescent Hill, the peace is shattered as fear begins to spread like wildfire. The residents, once accustomed to a quiet life, are now gripped by anxiety as a series of mysterious disappearances unsettle their community. The story begins with the introduction of Detective John Harris, a seasoned investigator who has been brought in from the city to solve the baffling mystery. John is a man of experience, known for his sharp mind and relentless pursuit of justice. As he arrives in Crescent Hill, he is met with wary eyes and a town that has lost its sense of security. The disappearances are strange and seemingly random, yet John quickly realizes that there is a connection between the victims. Each of the missing persons had been involved in minor disputes with a local man named Mark Thompson. Mark is a loner, living on the outskirts of town, and is known for his unpredictable temper and odd behavior. The townspeople, desperate for answers, are quick to point fingers at Mark, believing him to be the culprit. His reclusive nature and past outbursts make him an easy target for suspicion. However, John is not one to jump to conclusions. As he delves deeper into the investigation, he begins to see that the case is far more complex than it appears. The evidence linking Mark to the disappearances is circumstantial at best, and John senses that there is something far more sinister lurking beneath the surface. He starts to dig into the town's history, looking for any clues that might shed light on the current events. During his investigation, John discovers that Crescent Hill has a dark past, one that the townspeople prefer to keep buried. Decades ago, there was a string of similar disappearances, which were never fully explained. The town had managed to move on, but now, it seems that the past is catching up with them. The old case files are incomplete, and many of the key witnesses have either died or moved away, leaving John with more questions than answers. As John pieces together the puzzle, he begins to feel the weight of the town's fear pressing down on him. The pressure to solve the case is immense, and the clock is ticking. Each day that passes without a breakthrough brings more tension, both for John and the townspeople. The atmosphere in Crescent Hill grows increasingly tense, with whispers of suspicion and fear spreading through the community. The once close-knit town is now fractured, with neighbors turning against each other, driven by fear and uncertainty. John knows that if he doesn't solve the case soon, more lives could be at risk. He becomes more determined than ever to find the truth, no matter where it leads him. But as he digs deeper, he realizes that the truth may be more terrifying than he ever imagined. The town's dark past is beginning to resurface, and it seems that history may be repeating itself. As the first part of the story comes to a close, John is left with a chilling realization: the disappearances are just the beginning, and the true horror has yet to be uncovered. As Detective John Harris delves deeper into the investigation, the weight of the townspeople's desperation begins to bear down on him. The once peaceful town of Crescent Hill has become a pressure cooker of anxiety and suspicion. Every day, the residents grow more restless, demanding answers that John is struggling to find. The mysterious disappearances have shaken the community to its core, and fear is beginning to turn to anger. The townsfolk are losing faith in John's ability to solve the case, and whispers of frustration echo through the streets. Mark Thompson, the reclusive local man who has been under John's watchful eye, starts to unravel under the pressure. Aware that he is the primary suspect, Mark's behavior becomes increasingly erratic. He lashes out at those who approach him, and his once isolated life becomes a spectacle for the curious and the frightened. John's initial instincts told him that Mark might be involved, but now he is beginning to question his own judgment. Could Mark's strange behavior be the result of guilt, or is it simply the reaction of a man unjustly accused? Just as John's doubts begin to grow, he encounters Emily Carter, a young woman who recently moved to Crescent Hill. Emily is a fresh face in the town, and her arrival had gone mostly unnoticed amidst the chaos. But when she approaches John, her story adds a new and disturbing layer to the investigation. Emily reveals that she has been receiving strange, anonymous letters for weeks. The letters, filled with vague threats and warnings, urge her to leave town before it's too late. The tone of the letters suggests that someone is watching her every move, and Emily believes they are connected to the recent disappearances. John is initially skeptical of Emily's claims. Anonymous letters are not uncommon in small towns, and they often turn out to be nothing more than cruel pranks. However, when he examines the letters, something catches his eye, a small, almost imperceptible detail that links them to the missing persons cases. The letters are written on the same type of paper found in one of the missing victims' homes, and the handwriting bears a striking resemblance to another letter discovered at a different crime scene. This connection is too strong to ignore, and John realizes that Emily may be the key to unraveling the mystery. Emily becomes a crucial witness, and John begins to piece together her story with the broader investigation. As he spends more time with her, he notices that she is not as ordinary as she first appeared. Emily is hiding something, she is guarded, careful with her words, and seems to know more about the town's history than she should. John's instincts tell him that Emily is both a victim and a keeper of secrets. The deeper John digs, the more tangled the web of lies becomes. He uncovers long-buried secrets about Crescent Hill, its residents, and their hidden connections. It becomes clear that the disappearances are not isolated incidents, but rather part of a much larger and more sinister plan. The more John uncovers, the more he realizes that Mark Thompson may not be the mastermind behind the crimes, but rather another pawn in a larger game of deception. The town's history, once thought to be nothing more than a collection of old stories, begins to reveal its darker side. John learns of a previous investigation that was quietly shut down years ago, involving some of the same families now caught up in the current mystery. The connections between the past and the present are undeniable, and John starts to see a pattern of manipulation and control that spans generations. As John pieces together the clues, he finds himself questioning everything he thought he knew about Crescent Hill and its residents. The lies run deep, and the truth is buried beneath layers of deceit. Emily's role in the unfolding drama becomes more complex, as John realizes that she may hold the key to both the town's salvation and its destruction. By the end of this part, John is left with more questions than answers. The investigation has taken a dark turn, and he is beginning to see that the enemy he is hunting is far more cunning and dangerous than he ever imagined. The web of lies has ensnared everyone in Crescent Hill, and John must navigate it carefully if he hopes to find the truth and bring justice to the town. As Detective John Harris delves deeper into the labyrinth of lies and deceit in Crescent Hill, the investigation takes a perilous turn. The closer he gets to unraveling the mystery, the more dangerous his pursuit becomes. The once clear lines between ally and enemy blur, and John begins to suspect that the true culprit might be someone far closer to him than he ever anticipated. The mounting evidence, which once seemed to lead in one direction, now begins to take an unsettling turn. Each new clue uncovered seems to point toward someone John trusted, someone who has been skillfully manipulating events from behind the scenes. It dawns on him that he is not just dealing with an ordinary criminal but with a master of deception, a person who has been orchestrating the chaos in Crescent Hill from the shadows, pulling strings that John never even saw. Meanwhile, Mark Thompson's behavior grows increasingly erratic. The pressure of being the town's prime suspect has pushed him to the brink. His once strange but harmless eccentricities now seem to teeter on the edge of madness. John, who initially saw Mark as a suspect, now realizes that Mark is nothing more than a pawn, being skillfully set up to take the fall for a crime he did not commit. But Mark's unpredictable actions and volatile nature make him both a danger to himself and to others, complicating John's efforts to protect him. As John closes in on the truth, he uncovers more about the letters Emily Carter received and their connection to the hidden enemy. Emily's situation grows increasingly perilous as the true villain, realizing that John is getting closer to uncovering their identity, tightens their grip on the town. Emily becomes a target, her life hanging in the balance as the stakes rise. The once quiet and unsuspecting town of Crescent Hill now feels like a ticking time bomb, with the tension building to an unbearable degree. John knows that time is running out. The enemy he faces is not only cunning but also ruthless, willing to go to any lengths to protect their secrets and carry out their deadly plan. The more John uncovers about the town's history, the clearer it becomes that the roots of this conspiracy run deep, stretching back decades. Crescent Hill, with its picturesque appearance and tight-knit community, has long harbored dark secrets, and the current events are the culmination of years of buried guilt, betrayal, and vengeance. As John pieces together the final clues, he stumbles upon a shocking truth, one that ties the town's murky past directly to the present nightmare. The realization hits him hard: the enemy has been hiding in plain sight, using the town's fear and paranoia to cover their tracks. The true villain is someone who knows the town's history intimately, someone who has been able to play on its darkest fears to achieve their own twisted ends. The tension reaches its boiling point when John finally confronts this hidden enemy. The confrontation is intense, a high-stakes game of cat and mouse that threatens to destroy everything John has worked to protect. The villain, cornered and desperate, reveals the full extent of their manipulation, taunting John with the knowledge that they have been one step ahead all along. The deadly showdown that ensues is a battle not just of physical strength, but of wits. John must use every bit of his experience and intuition to outmaneuver an opponent who has been meticulously planning this moment for years. The fate of Crescent Hill hangs in the balance as the two adversaries clash, each determined to emerge victorious. In the end, the confrontation comes down to a split-second decision, a moment of clarity where John must choose between saving the town and succumbing to the same darkness that has plagued Crescent Hill for so long. The outcome will not only determine the fate of those involved, but will also reveal whether the town can ever truly escape its haunted past. In the chilling conclusion of the investigation, Detective John Harris finally uncovers the full extent of the conspiracy that has been tormenting Crescent Hill. The tangled web of lies and deceit is unraveled, exposing the hidden enemy who has been manipulating the town from within. The revelation is shocking: someone John had never suspected, someone who has been skillfully concealing their true identity, turns out to be the mastermind behind the mysterious disappearances. As John pieces together the final clues, he discovers that the hidden enemy has been exploiting Crescent Hill's dark history to their advantage. The town, with its buried secrets and unresolved past, has provided the perfect cover for their manipulative schemes. The true villain is revealed to be Nathaniel Clark, a respected figure in the community who has used his position of authority to orchestrate the chaos. Nathaniel's facade of respectability has allowed him to operate in the shadows, manipulating events and people to further his own hidden agenda. Emily Carter's past also comes to light, adding another layer of complexity to the unfolding drama. It is revealed that Emily is not just a random newcomer but has a personal connection to the events in Crescent Hill. She is the granddaughter of one of the town's long-forgotten victims, a victim whose disappearance was one of the first to be covered up decades ago. Emily's return to Crescent Hill was no coincidence. She had been drawn back by a need to uncover the truth about her family's tragic past. Unbeknownst to John, her own quest for answers had inadvertently placed her in the crosshairs of Nathaniel's elaborate plan. The confrontation between John and Nathaniel is a tense and high-stakes affair. The final showdown takes place in a secluded location, where the true nature of the villain's machinations is revealed in full. Nathaniel, cornered and desperate, tries to justify his actions, revealing the depth of his twisted motivations. His grievances with the town's past, coupled with his desire for power and control, have driven him to commit heinous acts to achieve his ends. John uses every ounce of his skill and wit to outmaneuver Nathaniel. The confrontation is not just a physical battle but a battle of intellect and willpower. John must navigate a series of traps and deceitful ploys set by Nathaniel, all while trying to protect Emily and ensure the safety of the town. The intensity of the final confrontation is palpable, with each move and counter-move pushing the stakes higher. As the truth behind the disappearances is finally unveiled, the darkest secrets of Crescent Hill are exposed. Nathaniel's motives are laid bare, and the extent of his manipulation is revealed. The town's history, once thought to be a series of disconnected events, is shown to be part of a larger, more sinister pattern. The town's dark past and its impact on the present are brought into sharp focus, leading to a revelation that is both shocking and tragic. In the end, justice is served, but the cost is great. Crescent Hill is left to grapple with the aftermath of the revelations and the damage caused by Nathaniel's actions. The town is forever changed, and the scars of the conspiracy will leave a lasting mark on its history. The community must come to terms with the truth and rebuild from the ruins of the deception that has plagued them. John Harris is left to reflect on the heavy price of truth. While the case is closed, the shadows of deceit linger in the town's history. The personal cost to John and the emotional toll of the investigation weigh heavily on him. As he leaves Crescent Hill, he knows that the town will continue to deal with the repercussions of the conspiracy for years to come. The final revelation has brought closure to the case, but has also highlighted the enduring impact of the darkness that once consumed Crescent Hill. The story concludes with a somber note, as John gazes back at the town, now forever marked by the shadows of its past. The journey has been one of discovery and confrontation, but it has also served as a reminder of the enduring power of deception and the cost of seeking the truth. The town of Crescent Hill may begin to heal, but the echoes of the past will continue to reverberate through its streets for years to come.